The forest of British Columbia breathed in silence, as if hiding something important in its depths. A little bear cub played at the edge of the trees, chasing a butterfly, unaware of the danger nearby. He did not know that just a few steps away, death lurked, patient and silent. From the grass, a giant python slithered out, its body gliding across the ground like a living shadow. It froze, sensing every vibration, every step of the small creature. And when the cub came closer, it lunged forward with lightning speed. In an instant, the snake's coils wrapped around the cub's body with relentless strength. He wheezed, trying to break free, but the grip only tightened with every movement. The forest grew silent again, as if watching this deadly scene unfold. But the silence did not last long. It was shattered by the roar of a furious mother, full of rage and pain. The bear charged toward her cub, breaking branches and shaking the earth with heavy paws. Her eyes burned with fire, and every muscle was ready for a fight to the death. She burst into the clearing and froze, seeing a horrifying sight before her. The python squeezed her cub tighter, ignoring the threat. But for the mother, fear did not exist, only one goal: to save her child. She roared so loudly that the forest trembled and hurled herself forward with all her might. Her claws dug into the python's scales, and her teeth clamped down hard on its body. The snake hissed and writhed, but it did not loosen its deadly grip. A desperate battle began, two forces of nature locked in a deadly struggle. The bear slashed, tore, and bit, but the python was built for battles like this. Its body tightened, muscles working like steel cables to hold its prey. The cub was suffocating, his eyes beginning to close from lack of air. Time was working against him, and every second could be his last. The mother understood this and sank her teeth into the python with renewed fury. A few kilometers away, two rangers were patrolling the reserve in a jeep. They heard the roaring cry of the bear and exchanged glances. It was a call for help. Without wasting a second, they turned the vehicle around and sped toward the sound. The wheels skidded over the wet ground, the engine roaring as it tore through the silence of the night. They knew that every minute counted, a life could end at any moment. Ahead awaited a scene for which no one could ever be prepared. Meanwhile, the bear fought on, sparing nothing, forgetting everything else in the world. The python tried to turn and bite, but its enemy was faster and stronger. The fight continued, while the cub's movements grew weaker and weaker. Soon the headlights of the jeep pierced the darkness, and the rangers jumped out with iron poles. They did not hesitate for a second. They knew they had to act immediately. The bear noticed them but did not attack. Her instinct told her they were there to help. One of the rangers cautiously approached the python and tried to wedge the pole between its coils. Each movement was difficult. The snake twisted and thrashed, defending its prey. At the same time, the bear continued her assault, distracting the predator. The coordinated actions of man and beast began to bring results. The python's coils loosened for a fraction of a second, and the bear sank her teeth into its body. One more effort, and the snake recoiled, releasing its deadly grip. The cub fell to the ground, his body motionless, his breath barely perceptible. The bear froze, her heart seemingly stopping along with her baby's. The rangers rushed closer, one kneeling beside the cub and placing a hand on its chest. A second passed, then another. There was no breath, and the world seemed to hold its breath too. The mother let out a deep, low moan, full of despair and pain. But then the cub's chest barely twitched, followed by a weak, shallow breath. The rangers exchanged glances and stepped back, leaving the mother beside her child. She held him close and began licking him, returning warmth and life. Every movement was filled with love and hope, stronger than any words. The python, weakened and wounded, slithered away into the tall grass. Its power was broken not only by claws and teeth, but by the strength of a mother's love. The battle was over, but its echoes lingered in the cold night air. The rangers stood aside, watching the scene with quiet respect. They understood they had witnessed something greater than just a fight for life. It was a moment when humans and nature united for a single purpose. The cub began to breathe more steadily, his eyes slowly opening to meet his mother's. She purred softly, as if soothing him, saying without words, "You are safe now." In that moment, all the trials felt distant, replaced by pure love. One ranger came closer and gently examined the cub's injured paw. The wounds were deep but not fatal. He would recover. The mother did not resist. Her trust in humans was now clear. When it was all over, The rangers gathered their equipment and stepped back to the jeep. They knew their work here was done. The rest would be taken care of by nature itself. The bear stayed by her cub's side for a long time, never taking her eyes off him. With the first rays of dawn, the forest once again filled with life and sound. Birds began to sing, and a soft breeze rustled the branches as if celebrating the victory. The bear rose and headed deeper into the forest, her cub trotting beside her. The rangers stood and watched them leave, feeling pride and peace. They knew they would remember this day for a long time, the day life triumphed. And in their hearts, they felt that all of it had been worth it. The story of that night became more than just a rescue. It was a story of love. A mother's love, the strength of instinct, and an unshakable desire to protect what is most precious. And even in the wildest, most dangerous nature, love remains the strongest force on earth. Days passed, and the traces of that night began to disappear beneath a soft carpet of forest leaves. The bear once again led her cub to the clearing, but now he stayed close, never straying far. His gaze had grown wiser. He now understood the world was not always kind. Sometimes the silhouette of the python could be seen in the shadows, retreating deeper into the thicket after its defeat. It no longer dared to come closer, knowing the strength of a mother whose love could overcome the instinct of death. In the wild, victory is never forever, but respect between predators remains unchanged. And when the sunset painted the sky in fiery colors, the bear lifted her head to the wind and breathed deeply. Beside her walked her son, alive and strong, a reminder of what she had fought for. And the forest whispered an eternal truth: even among dangers, love is stronger than fear and can work miracles.